McFly! Oh, you just revealed something about us. Don't say that kind of thing.
We were supposed to not let them know that we're talking about anime titties.
Oh, look at that. It's all black and white, dude. That's cute.
Don't acknowledge anything right now as I quickly move Till's face. Don't acknowledge it. Get in there. Squeeze into that box. Come on. There we are. Okay.
Look at him peeking around.
Welcome, everybody, to our Werewolf by Night discussion. A little late, but we're finally here. I'm noticing that my audio is in red. 1 second. Let's
see how bad it is.
Bring that down a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's pretty loud. Oh,
why does it keep changing, man?
Did you update OBS?
I didn't. I specifically didn't. I never do.
Oh man, I did, and it broke everything.
That's my fear.
I had to completely rebuild my entire stream.
Mm-hmm. Gross.
Yeah.
I'm doing that right now, but that's because I built a new PC.
Oof.
All right.
How's it running? Is it really good?
Hello.
What's that?
Is it like really good now?
It's been. I had some issues with my last PC, so it's much better than my last PC.
That's good. I love getting new parts and like having it just be like run smoother. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that is starting to help because it's not peaking as much. So there we go. All right. But yeah, we are here to discuss Werewolf by Night finally because yeah, it has been a little bit of a wait. It's not Halloween anymore, but we're just at the end of it pretty much. So
it only just ended, and I was on vacation, sort of, so I wasn't here.
Yeah, it's all good, but we're finally here to discuss what I would say was a pretty awesome first special from Marvel. So, what did you guys think of it?
I really liked it.
Did you watch it when it came out, or did you watch it like on Halloween?
Oh, I watched it when it came out. Like, I didn't wait until Halloween for sure. I can't wait for that kind of thing.
I knew that I was going to be completely shit-faced drunk on Halloween, so there was no way I was going to watch it on that day.
Mm-hmm.
I usually watch other movies like Halloween and all that kind of stuff. So
I think it falls into the same traps as typical Marvel stuff, but I like that Marvel
was in black and white.
Yeah, right. I do think that they tried something different, which is something that I've been clamoring on that they need to do, and it's pretty happy that they made the attempt, even if it did fall into the typical Marvel stuff. It could have done without all the quips, I think.
But like.
Were there a lot of quips in this?
That's what I was gonna say.
Was there?
There were just enough.
I would because I rewatched it before we did the stream for sure. I watched it, but like, yeah, like I didn't feel like a lot of quips were really happening. The biggest joke in the whole thing is Ted. That's probably it for me.
And I don't.
But that's because his actual name.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if that's comic book accurate. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
But that kind of. But
the way that's
not
played.
The fact that his name is Ted, it's the way that they play it out.
Exactly.
Is just kind of like
his comic book name is Man Thing.
I'm so much happier with Man Thing. I feel like since they did it in black and white, I really would have liked it more if they leaned heavy into like the grit. And even though it was in black and white and it had some horror elements, it still kind of just felt like Marvel's superhero stuff
with a black and white filter on top of it.
Yeah.
I get that. If you're which again, like that's like a stylistic thing. Like I love the black and white thing, even down to the opening of the Marvel, the Marvel opening when they do the whole like Marvel pictures or whatever, right? The scratches coming across the screen, making the music all like distorted. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
like things like that. If they push that, I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I enjoyed it. I can't actually remember a lot about it because it was such a while ago. I'm gonna quickly pull it up.
I decided to watch it last night,
or
before we started streaming, pretty much. But
I watched it on Thanksgiving with my sister.
See, it came out on Canadian Thanksgiving. Everybody, if you're confused, we didn't get like a time travel thing going or anything here. We're Canadian.
No, man, like wait, Dumbo. I'm American. This is in November Thanksgiving.
I mostly enjoyed it though. It was refreshing to kind of see some new stuff. I still feel like they kind of shied away from gore, which was kind of shocking.
I think it's just
like a lot of people were
noticeable because if you were paying attention, there's a whole lot of blood and stuff happening on screen.
It
the
doesn't
really pop in black and white.
Well, it's very confusing. Yeah. Like I personally didn't understand what was happening when he grabs a person by like the ribs and then suddenly it's shredded. Like he didn't even do anything, but suddenly there's just a piece of him ripped off, and it didn't really look like an action took place. But that was the gore kind of thing.
A lot of people were saying like, oh, this is so gory. I love it. It's like it's not like super gory.
I think it's to the degree that I would be okay with. You know what I mean? Like I think Blade doing what this is doing, but in a colored movie would be fine. Like because at one point she literally like puts a sword through a chick's head and then does that like twist thing to make it even worse. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that the gore was just really stylized, and so it didn't come across as like, I don't know, like shocking. Like
I think since they did it in black and white, they could get away with it a lot.
Absolutely. They pulled a Quentin Tarantino. He's like, I had to make this part of the movie black and white, stylistically, and because there's too much blood on screen.
It also had a film effect. It had that like coffee grain or coffee circle cue to film reels and stuff like that. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, even the way that like the lighting is like fluttering in the background. Yeah, like it looks so aesthetically like it's from a Universal Pictures like era film.
I might be misremembering, but I feel like there were a lot of Dutch angles too, where everything's kind of filmed like sideways.
I wasn't paying attention. Maybe in that like
I'm like now sifting through immediately
scene where they were like where she was like shooting that guy's wrist arrow thing. Maybe in that scene, but I wasn't really paying attention to that.
I wouldn't have a problem with Dutch angles in this. I mean, if they're overused, then they're overused and annoying for sure. But like,
no, they didn't bother me.
Okay,
it was just they leaned into a very specific kind of style, which I did appreciate. It was a little different than the norm. It just kind of felt a little odd to me that like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had more gore than this.
Yeah,
like I feel like if anything, if there's any Marvel thing that should have like real gore, it's probably this.
Yeah,
like this was the most gory they could have gone for sure. I wasn't picturing anything like the Wolfman movie that came out in like the earlier 2010s or whatever, but like I was picturing around that. I think.
Yeah.
Like in the same area. I was
a little disappointed by the way the Wolfman dude looked. I don't know the comics.
It reminded me of it reminded me more of like Big Wolf on Campus.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yes, there's so much build up too. Like I thought it was going to be like some horrifying monster, and it's just like, nah, it's just a dude with some Party City fur glued to his face.
Yeah, like I was totally expecting something more in line with how that Wolfman looked in that new movie. Like that one was a very effective, scary Wolfman. He wasn't really like intensely. It wasn't CGI mostly. I think it was like a guy in an actual costume and scary as shit. So.
Well, it's like when he's transforming, I was expecting them to like show this like gruesome transformation scene like American Werewolf did, and instead it's just like they don't really show much.
Well, I think it was intentional because I was watching an interview with the director, and he was talking about how he's like inspired by some of those old movies,
like the old like 50s movies.
Yeah, where a lot of the scary stuff was happening off screen, like you weren't actually seeing.
I definitely got that feeling from this.
Well, I think that I preferred that to an extent, right? Because I think that the whole thing about American Werewolf in London is that they really wanted to not do that and push like the fact that we're going to do an extensive transformation scene. And while like that can work, I think that like the off-screen reactionary shot that was in this was way cooler. I think that it especially with how like the transformation looks in the end, I don't think that it would have been even that intense to look at, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's I guess my problem with it is that I felt like he transforms off screen, which is fine. And then when you see him, it's like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that, though.
Yeah, random.
Because like in the comics, he looks like an actual werewolf.
Yeah, random side tangent. What is your guys' favorite werewolf in like anything? If you like werewolves even in the first place.
Jacob.
And you're kicked from this podcast.
Jacob? Oh,
Jacob's a fucking
Twilight.
wolf.
You talking about Twilight?
He looks like he's just a big wolf.
No, but really, I don't know.
I'm gonna bring this one up. Early 2000s movie. Van Helsing, greatest werewolf ever.
That's pretty cool. I was gonna say like Underworld.
Those ones are freaky looking. They do look a lot more bestial than wolf, I find. But
yeah,
they're cool.
I don't know if I have a favorite werewolf.
Oh,
mine's a bit of an obscure British movie called Dog Soldiers.
Oh my! Okay, kind of obscure. I'll let you go with that one.
Obscure-ish. I don't think a lot of people are familiar with it.
Probably not. You're right. It's just that when I know of something, I'm always like, "Fuck you, man! Like you calling that shit obscure?"
Yeah,
my favorite one.
Talk about Troll 2 here, right? Like,
is actually my favorite one is gonna be that one from that one episode of What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
Where he jumps off at the building after a ball.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where Oz, like, the first time he shows up as a werewolf was the best he ever looked, because after that they made him look like a weird, like, caveman thing. And I was like, that is not a werewolf to me. That is a caveman.
I like it when werewolves have that, like, more wolf-like appearance.
Yeah.
Where they're more wolf than man.
They got a snoot.
That's like the backwards legs, snout, covered in fur, maybe a tail. That's what I like. I'm not a big fan of the, like, wolfman look.
Yeah.
Why'd they make like a shitty half-wolf with Oz?
I don't know, man. I don't know why they had him look at the way he looked at the beginning, and then they changed it for some stupid reason. I would say it's probably because
budget.
Yeah, exactly. It was good.
Budget.
The effects of it were just too much. Like the first time he shows up, he's in darkness for the most time anyway. Like you don't even really see it, so it could look like shit.
Am I the only one that thought in this show that Blade was going to show up?
I definitely got that vibe.
I didn't think
Blade to show.
I didn't think Blade was going to show up.
I thought somebody was gonna
maybe
show up.
Moon Knight, because they have some sort of tie-in in the comics, but other than that, I wasn't really expecting any cameos.
When did this take place?
In the Marvel timeline?
Yeah, because I think it was like kind of, it seemed very past, but then at the end it reveals kind of that it's now, right?
I don't think it's it's more in the present, but I don't think it's explicitly said when in the timeline it was. But this would have been, I would imagine, sometime after Ragnarok, because Man-Thing was one of the Grandmaster's champions. So other than that, I don't know.
This is why we have Till here.
The Man-Thing was one of the faces next to like.
I can tell you the Man-Thing's journey as stated in the MCU so far, but it's not very like.
If they're gonna follow,
I want to hear this.
So it started back in Iron Man 3.
What?
In the comics, Man-Thing has.
Are you Chris Angel, bro? Because you're freaking my mind right now.
Man-Thing's ex in the comics, he had scarred her because of like he gained his abilities. He had like his acid touch, and he scarred her face. They cast that character in Iron Man 3 as one of the
Extremis.
What's it called? Extremis? Yeah.
Extremis, yeah.
Extremis characters. And she had the scar on her face. So she had the name and the scar. So it's kind of implied that she did date Man-Thing and that he had scarred her. So he was Man-Thing at that point. Then soon after on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had mentioned that S.H.I.E.L.D. had Man-Thing in custody in what they called the fridge, which they had some other villains in. And Congress was asking them about the fridge. And then after that, at some point, I would imagine after Civil War, Man-Thing had somehow traveled to the Grandmaster's planet, Sakaar, and become one of his champions because his face was on his building.
Which I imagine would be pretty easy for a guy who could literally just grab a person and melt them.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. You know, I know I normally harp on Marvel's interconnectivity, but that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool if it actually is that. You know what I mean? Like, but it probably is just something that
I feel like a lot of old the old MCU movies are like they put it in as like a funny joke at the time, but never actually intend to like set up anything.
Well, I think they've wanted. There's a lot of characters like Man-Thing that they want to use, but they've been tied up in rights issues because Man-Thing for a while was under Lionsgate for their rights, and I don't think people really understood what Marvel could do at the time. So they had these like little mentions of the character. But I don't think they really could have done anything.
We even still have problems like that with Hulk, and he's like a big goddamn character. God damn you, Universal.
Yeah.
And Namor. Namor's now in Black Panther, but they've been trying to get Namor going for a while, but because of rights issues, they couldn't.
It's really easy for a character like Man-Thing too to get kind of swept under the rug because he's so similar to Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like for me as like a DC fan, the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, I kept calling him Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought they were going to make that joke. I thought they were going to be like, "Oh my god, is that a Swamp Thing?" And they're like, "No, it's a Man Thing," or something like that. I don't know. I think
Man Thing's supposed to be like some sort of keeper of a portal to travel the multiverse.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Swamp Thing does the same thing.
My only experience with Man Thing literally comes from Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where Deadpool's whole goal was to see him and get to that multiversal portal that he was like hiding.
Swamp Thing is the keeper of the green, which is
me too, bro.
Yeah, there you go.
it's slightly different, but they're generally the same character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been entirely ripped from that.
But that's what Marvel have been doing that forever.
Well, Marvel always rips off of DC, admittedly, right? Because I think Dr. Fate came out before. It's a vice versa thing, but
they do that all the time. Yeah,
I think it's more that Marvel has stolen. Honestly, I think it is.
Well, DC's an older company, so that's
and they make Marvel takes them and just makes them better.
DC copied Aquaman after Namor.
Aquaman is a copy
definitely more popular.
Namor. Man Thing's a copy of Swamp Thing. Thanos is a copy of
Darkseid.
Darkseid, yeah.
There's even
Darkseid is way cooler
and
Thanos,
I was saying, Dr. Fate and Doctor Strange for sure. After watching Black Adam last weekend, Dr. Fate I was watching, I was like, damn, this is just Doctor Strange. Holy fuck.
Then there's Deadpool, but even DC now is no, he's not a copy anymore. He's completely different.
Well, Deadpool was intentionally
he was very specifically a copy of Deathstroke.
Yeah.
But they made him
when it comes to Doctor Fate and Doctor Strange, while they're very similar characters, I think it's very important to point out that Doctor Strange is nowhere near Doctor Fate's power level.
Okay, man. All I'm saying is after watching Black Adam, I don't know if that's true.
I don't give a shit if your fucking blue suit superhero could fucking rip a sun in half. This is dumb.
Well, the difference comes down to we're not going to do a who versus who, but
that's what this is becoming.
Doctor Strange is a master magician. He's a sorcerer supreme. Doctor Fate is magic itself. It's way.
I mean, even the way that they described it is that he's the helm is an alien thing that possesses him or something. I'm that's cool. But
ultimately, they're very different characters that just kind of at surface level seem the same.
I mean, when you're watching them on screen, they feel exactly the same. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure.
But
no, Werewolf by Night was pretty dang good, man. I want Marvel to do more stuff like this. Where I honestly hope that this doesn't go anywhere. I hope it just stays right here.
Okay, you brought up two things that I kind of want to talk about. Okay, well, first, do you think anything from this is going to go anywhere that we see?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, what do you think?
Marvel, yes.
Kevin Feige's been interviewed and he said, "Yeah, we're going to see more monster stuff from Werewolf by Night."
So we'll see Jack, and we'll see I can't remember her name, but Bloodstone chick.
Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah, we'll see them in other projects, and it won't just be maybe next year Halloween again or something. Well,
Elsa Bloodstone is a big name when it comes to monsters in the comics. She's the one who hunts them down and stuff.
I guess
I imagine
it maybe could be a pathway to House of Harkness to see stuff like that come in.
Coven of Chaos?
Is that what it is? Oh, I thought it was House of Harkness.
Yeah, they changed it to Coven of Chaos.
No, they didn't. No way.
That was a while ago.
Really? It was. Yeah.
Catch up, nerd.
Oh my god, see, because I've just been calling it House of Harkness. That sounds so funny.
There's been casting news for that. They casted some kid. A lot of people are speculating that this one kid that's been casted is one of Wanda's children grown up, which I couldn't find any solid source for that. The other cast is Audrey Plaza.
I don't know. Hopefully she gets something good. I
like her. So
yeah,
she's apparently playing a villain, but that is I thought Agatha was a villain.
Well, but she'll be a good guy in the show, I imagine, and she'll be
So she's not a good guy. She's a protagonist. That doesn't mean that she's a good. Well, person.
Yeah. She's the protagonist of the show, but I think that they will try to make her good by the end of it and slip her into the whole Fantastic Four nanny role shit later or something. I don't know.
I have no clue what Coven of Chaos is going to be about. So
well, but in other words, I think that's going
to. That's my deal with Echo.
I think it'll be cool that
maybe Echo is going to be about
the darkness from this show goes into that show. Maybe I don't know. It would be cool to see supernatural
Coven
stuff.
of Chaos is going to be a comedy. I already know. It's I think it's obvious. It's Catherine Hahn and Audrey Plaza.
I think
it's going to be a comedy.
I think that she can be comedic in it, but I think that it should be a little bit more let's explore some darker stuff in a sense. I don't know.
Sure, she had that a little bit in WandaVision, but I don't imagine the show is going to be anything other than
and Aubrey Plaza can
comedy.
go dark. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
Legion,
agree.
she was great. As like, she was semi-comedic, sure, but she was a serious role in that show.
I think she had a stronger role as the comedy side of that show than she had in the serious side.
Yeah, I think that if Marvel was really at any point going to lean heavy into horror, this would have been their chance. And this only feels like they just kind of dipped their toes in horror. It was this honestly, like, being a horror movie fan, this really isn't horror.
No, not at
all.
No.
Oh my god, Psy is the worst.
This was intentionally supposed to be a campy kind of thing that's inspired by a lot of
like inspired by
like if you pull someone from the 50s and watch this, they'll probably get scared.
Well, because they got scared of like Christopher Lee popping out of a face wrap. Like, that's it. And it's like, that's not even scary, dude. Like, man up.
Fuck. I like this, but I'm okay with them doing a little bit more with this and doing more stuff like this. But what I don't want is for them to. What I like the most about this is that you can watch it and it doesn't have to fit into the Marvel universe. And I want more stuff like that. Where if they're going to explore this sort of like dark side of the Marvel universe, then like keep it separate. Just let it be its own thing, please.
Well, that's not going to happen.
I kind of do want it to connect. I want to see Jack in other
projects before that happens, and I would agree with you. I would like to see stuff like that.
Am I the only one with Sam like cutting out weirdly?
It's my microphone has been very bad lately. I don't understand what has changed.
I
played CS:GO. I don't know.
I played CS:GO once.
I don't know what to tell you.
I could probably help you out with technical and off stream.
Yeah, later on, if you want to help me with that, that'd be great.
Yeah, I know exactly what's happening. I'll talk you through it later.
Okay.
Yeah, so like DC does a thing kind of like this, right? DC has the Justice League Dark.
Yeah.
And it's kind of its own thing where it's like Constantine and Zatanna and Swamp Thing and like all these like spookier shut up. All these spookier characters. And I really like that like Justice League Dark is while it's within the greater universe of the DC continuity in the comics, it's not necessarily like connected to it. So they can do their own independent stories without you being like, wait, where does this fit in with what Superman was doing yesterday? And I really want them to do something like that with Marvel, because I don't want to watch all these shows and have them all lead into the next show or the next movie, because that is driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this one doing that.
Sit down and watch a show for the sake of watching a show.
I don't see this one doing that in the grand scheme that I think would be problematic for you personally. Like, I don't think that we're going to see a lot of these characters soon-ish.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
Oh no! Like, wait, David Bowie died, right? In this show, I mean.
What?
David Bowie, the David Bowie looking character, the bootleg David Bowie.
The boot? Oh, I don't even know who you're talking about.
The really tall androgynous.
Oh, the tall chick. Okay.
Yeah.
They're androgynous. We don't know if they're chick.
I don't remember anybody else's name other than Jack, Elsa, and Ted.
Did they say that in the show? Because I didn't even catch that.
The names?
No. Like of the tall person.
I think they said everybody's name at some point.
Well, because why am I getting camed at for her being androgynous or whatever? Like,
I don't think that they ever specified that character's gender.
Why'd you ever get camed at?
Why am I getting
that was a weird way to say that. What the hell was that?
No, it's true. I'm getting cummed at. What do you want me to say? Each way, it's gonna sound bad.
I got this gender wrong, and now everybody's coming on me. What the fuck? Is that like a Canadian
the worst
thing?
way you could have said
it's
that.
It's how I will stand firm on why'd you cam at me.
I don't like that at all.
Well, there you go. My thing with this, at the end of the day, is I liked this. I don't want this to just be a special thing. I want this to be a thing that they do for certain characters, where it's like, well, why did we need a show for this character? Why not just have a 45-minute special that covers pretty much the bases?
Yeah, not everything needs a show.
Imagine for a moment, everybody, Werewolf by Night being a 6-episode show.
I'd be down for it, but I think this was fine how it was.
I think I would be okay, sure, watching it, but I would be way more into this. Like, this is so much better to me.
Yeah, and I think something that we've all agreed on is that Marvel has a serious pacing problem.
Yeah.
And I think that this show shows that they can do the thing without having to worry about doing 10 episodes where 8 of them are boring and not important.
Yeah,
Hulk.
So I really enjoyed just that this was a one-off thing. You know, there was never a moment where I was like, nah, I'm sick of this. I just kind of sat down. I enjoyed it. When it was over, I was like, that was pretty cool.
It makes me excited for the holiday special coming out, the Guardians of the Galaxy one. That one looks fun. Like where this one is the horror, of course. That one is just that holiday crap that you're like excited to see. That's like my Santa Clauses right there.
Yeah, and I really actually like it when Marvel or DC or anyone leans heavy into like camp or schlock. Like not everything needs to be a super serious world-ending event. So it is kind of refreshing. Like even She-Hulk, I think, did a good job of like lightening the mood just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of over the world-ending stuff because that's been
so often
sort of like a trope. Like even in the original Suicide Squad movie, that didn't need to be, hey, the world's gonna end for Suicide Squad. So like that kind of stuff is annoying.
Ayer cut, am I right?
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know if I like David Ayer.
I can't stand David Ayer, but I would like to see his original vision for the movie.
Yeah, sure.
I would too. That'd be the only time I would want to rewatch that movie.
Yeah. You know, in some ways, I don't want to derail us too much, but in some ways, there's some stuff from the original Suicide Squad movie that I liked more than the new one.
There's some moments I liked,
what it
but
is.
yeah, I've watched that movie twice. I watched it once in theaters, and I thought it was a pretty fun time, but I was annoyed by some stuff that I watched. Rewatched it again, I'm like, this movie just sucks. And but there's like some moments I liked. I like some of the characters and the actors and stuff. But
DC
like,
has a serious villain problem, where it's like DC has some of the most iconic comic book villains ever made, and it's like they're scared to use them. And I don't understand it.
They want to go through the obvious ones first, right? Like
I mean,
that they always use.
First of all, remaking the Joker is like there's zero reason to ever do that. And even big Batman nerds like me are like, can we get away from the Joker? But
I'll be honest, I'm not a big Joker fan.
I like the Joker. I just don't like him on film. I like him in comics. But DC seems scared to use their real villains, whereas Marvel, just right off the rip, was like, these are our A-list villains, and here's how we get to them.
Yeah, they tease them right at the beginning.
Creates its own problem.
Thanos smiling in the front of the camera.
That was like my first. I wouldn't say my first nerd moment, but that was like one of the first moments where I was like, "Oh my god, I'm into this shit." Like the fact
I
that they
audibly got like the little boy giggles when I saw that in theaters.
He turned.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
Although they did something that, and they went back on it a little bit, because sure, you don't have to read into it too much, but he says like, to challenge them is to court death. And if you know about Thanos in the comics, you're like, oh, okay, like that makes sense why he's like turns
he wants to bang death.
Yeah, he's gonna turn around and smile like, bitch, I want to court death. Let's go. But then that never came about.
It's kind of like it was kind of like a double meaning. It's like you're inviting death, like you're embracing that possibility.
And admittedly, I much prefer MCU Thanos over comic book Thanos. I think the whole like dating death thing is fucking dumb.
Mixed bag. I think
both of them have a weird like rivalry of Deadpool, because Deadpool actually gets with death.
I know, and I love that though. Oh my god, imagine. Imagine a world. Imagine an MCU where Thanos shows up and he's like, "Fucking Deadpool, getting with my girl." Like, imagine.
I do like seeing cosmic entities personified like they are in the comics, like we've seen Eternity in Thor: Love and Thunder. But I can admit, like doing that to death seems weird, and I don't know if you can properly translate that into movies.
No way, because like the comic book universes, both DC and Marvel, are so intertwined within their own mythos and their own comic book format that they can do off the wall goofy shit that just doesn't work in film, even in a filmatic like expanded universe.
I would say, I don't know, man.
30 films.
I think that I think the MCU, if they had done it right, I think it could have been done. Like dropping in death, do some cool shit. Even the way she was done in the Deadpool game herself was like, that was my pretty much introduction to an on-screen MCU death. Even though it's in a video game, it doesn't really count. But like, it was still something that I was like, they could easily throw this into a movie format.
I straight up forgot there even was a Deadpool game.
It was a weird game.
Yeah, because
Very weird
it got delisted like soon after release because Activision never wants to relicense stuff. So
really weird
it's
game.
like a forgotten game.
Check out my my YouTube channel S-Man Sam if you want to look at a playthrough that I did, and don't actually watch it because it's fucking abysmal. But
hey, in other words, check out McClunky Squadron to check out other playthroughs we did.
Yeah, really. Check us out on our Buddy Beans days.
The thing about Werewolf by Night is I think a few of us watched it quite a while ago, and also it's so fast that there's not a whole lot to talk about.
I think Werewolf by Night relies too much on fan service.
All the massive Werewolf by Night fans.
Finally,
it's here.
I mostly just wanted to talk about this to get that out there, where it's like, yeah, like do more of this. Do more not even with the specials. Do more of
Marvel
solo things,
and we will do more of this.
For me, I hated She-Hulk so much that this kind of reinvigorated some of my faith in the MCU.
Yeah,
because after She-Hulk, I said it live on this show. I was like, I'm fucking done with Marvel.
Yeah,
and then this show was kind of like, well, maybe I'm not. And
it's hard to say that, especially. It's hard to say that when Wakanda Forever is coming out, and that looks so good. It
really does look really good.
Yeah, but a lot of things look really good. But would it be?
I mean, but did She-Hulk? I mean, when we were watching the trailers for that, I never was like, yeah,
No, I had the
a lot of things like Multiverse of Madness look good, but you hate that.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I just was let down by that movie.
You hate it.
I don't hate it.
I'm just kidding.
I think I went into She-Hulk actually a little bit hyped, where I was excited.
That was your problem.
They're finally going to go into Hulk stuff, which they have not done since 2004.
Again, Universal.
So they're going to go into Hulk stuff.
Man,
and it turns out that's not what I want at all.
I had the exact opposite. I was like, Hulk's going to make one appearance at the beginning. It's all going to be She-Hulk, and based on the trailers, I have the lowest expectations.
I went in with
I thought it was okay watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have hated it a little bit less if my expectations weren't so high.
What were your expectations going into this? What did you really think before going into this?
I honestly had no expectations because I didn't even know this show was going to be a thing until 2 weeks before it came out when you told me to check out the trailer. And watching the trailer, I was like, oh man, this looks great. And after I watched it, I'm like, this was pretty good. It's still very clearly got the stamp of MCU on it.
Yeah.
It hits all of the beats that the MCU stuff hits, which is both good and bad, I think.
I don't know what film. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Overall, I would say that I don't think it exceeded my expectations, but it hit my expectations. I was pretty happy with it.
It hit mine.
I don't know what film festival it was, but this premiered early, actually, a little bit. And when they announced that they were going to be showing it there, because they do it live at this film festival, I can't remember which one it is, but everyone in the theater deflated because they were like, we're going to really watch Werewolf by Night, which is going to come out in 2 weeks. But by the end of the movie, or the short film, whatever you want to call it, everyone walking out of the theater was like, that was actually really good. Holy shit. So that was the hype I had going into this. I was very excited to see it.
I'll admit, the first half of it, I wasn't really bought in. And then about right at the halfway mark, I was like, okay, I'm in.
When he's revealed, when he touches the stone.
Right around that mark. And I knew he was going to be a monster right off the rip.
Oh yeah.
But right when he touches the stone and things start kind of kicking into gear, that's when I was like, all right. Because at first it's just weirdos fighting in a maze. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know who these characters are. And then once we get introduced to our titular werewolf and man thing, that's when I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'm into this now.
In that first half, I would say it was the performances of I had to look this one up, but Gael Garcia Bernal, that guy playing the werewolf was very good. There was something elevated about him where it was like, damn, this guy feels like he should be an Oscar shit to me. I don't know, that was the vibe I got.
Yeah. I did the thing where I didn't watch trailers for this, or I saw a little bit some snippets, but then I didn't actually I think that's really tempering my expectations for a lot of things recently. Where
it wasn't a lot. It wasn't marketed right. They barely had anything marketed.
Yeah, but I've been doing that with a lot of things where I just don't super like everyone's like, oh, there's a new trailer for this, and I watch. I'm like, that was all right, and then I just don't watch anything else about it. I don't.
Are you avoiding the Black Panther stuff because it seems like there's like 3 new TV spots a day for that?
I watched a trailer about it, and now like I'm like, all right, it looks cool. I'll watch it. Like,
I watch the big trailers that come out, like the first one, and then they're like whatever they call the follow-up one usually. Like that's about it.
Yeah.
So the teaser and then the trailer.
But because they did like a full-on trailer before, didn't they? Because like the first trailer for Wakanda Forever was more of like a, it was the one that was more of a memorial to Chadwick Boseman, I would say.
Yeah.
That was the trailer, right? That wasn't a teaser.
That was the first. I don't know if they've actually had a teaser for the movie.
Yeah, because like there was that one, and then the new one that came out, which showed that like Shuri was going to be the Black Panther and stuff. So, that's what I will.
Lead actor in this. Gael Garcia Bernal.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen him in anything else?
No, I don't think so. At least let me check.
So he's amazing in this. I think his performance actually carried the entire thing. And that kind of shocked me because I've only ever seen him in one other thing. Was he in Coco?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Huh. Well, he was a voice in that. But I've only ever seen him in one other thing, and it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie called Old. And he fucking sucks in that.
Oh, yeah, okay. Now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen
I do recognize him in Old.
But I heard about it.
Like, that movie is not only just awful, but he's the lead in that, and it just feels like it's just like...
it's like a weird...
it in.
It's like a weird movie where, like, these kids grow up super fast, but then they still act like adults.
It's weird. It's like... It's an okay premise, but like anything M. Night Shyamalan's done in the last 2 decades, it falls flat. But he's the lead in that, and it's a really strange choice because his kids have like American accents, and he clearly has a Spanish accent. But it's like he's awful in that movie. So when I saw him in this, when I first saw his face, I was like, oh fuck, it's this guy. They got this like B movie dude, but he nails it in this. He's so good.
I think it's supposed to have a B movie kind of vibe, though.
Great actor with like a shitty script.
Oh, he's gonna be playing the new Zorro.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
I think he.
I'm excited for him now. I completely changed my my opinions on the actor. I went from hating because Old came out like last year, and so he went from that shitty movie to this, which was like I got to see his acting chops, and he's pretty dang solid.
He's pretty good. Like when he was on screen, I was like, I'm listening. You're bringing some good words.
I could listen to this guy read me a fucking phone book, dude.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
His voice is just smooth.
It's specifically the scene when like what's her name again? Elisa? What is it? Elsa. When Elsa's like wrapping her wound and he's like trying to offer help. There's something about like the flow of how he's trying to help that really hits something for me. I don't know what it is. I just like it.
Yeah, I think the actor himself has like a natural sort of charm to him that you can't help but sort of like. It's something about his face. Like his face looks, I guess, innocent.
Yeah, I get it.
And he's got this natural charm, so you want to like him. Like even in that Old movie, I wanted to like him, but that movie sucked. But I was surprised to see that he did so well. And another thing that knocked it out of the park was Man-Thing's expressions.
Yeah, who'd have thought, right?
Right? I thought that was going to be pretty bad and hard to do. But like the first time that the main chick, I can't remember her name or anyone else's name in this.
Elsa.
The first time that Elsa calls him Ted, and you see his look of like shock, I was like, okay, that's good. I actually laughed at that. Marvel got a goddamn laugh out of me.
Yeah, a little chuckle.
We need to have a counter for that. Whenever Richard has like a moment where he's like, "This is good," you'd be like, "Boom!"
Yeah,
right? It reminds me. This is gonna sound weird. It reminds me of animated movie Ice Age.
Yeah,
the old classic.
Oh yeah, we do.
Ray Romano's character, the mammoth.
Manny?
Yeah, because I remember, I don't know how I would have saw this. I remember them talking about his face, how it was hard for them to do expressions on it because he had the trunk all the time. So they had to focus on his eyes being so expressive. And I think that's similar what they did to Man-Thing in this movie.
Very much, yeah. It's all in the eyes and the brows. And it was so cool to see him go from being like this terrifying threat to being like adorable.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to hug him. I think that the best scene in this entire thing, honestly, is the very last scene where it transitions from black and white to color.
I was just gonna bring that up. How did you know that?
Because we're like twinsies, bro.
What the fuck? That's creepy.
But when they're just like sitting there and they're like drinking coffee, and they both look like they've been through some shit. Like that was my favorite scene in this whole thing. Like I'd watch another 20 minutes of them just like going to like a Dunkin' Donuts and just getting a coffee and a meal.
They just had cute chemistry together. Like I enjoyed them on screen together, just riffing.
Very much so. And something that I think, this might be a hot take with you guys, but something that I think that the Marvel Universe desperately needs is, unfortunately, likable characters. The MCU needs more of like more relatable, likable characters that I want to root for because I feel for them. And I feel like I think Thor was that in Ragnarok and was the opposite of that in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, like, and like, well, like in like Iron Man, whereas like the first one's like you kind of like I don't know about this guy, and then like you see him become a better person,
right?
Like,
or even Iron Man 3, which I hated. He's such a relatable person because he's dealing with shit.
Yeah, but like in She-Hulk, like they always just make the characters like either just perfect or really shitty with no like hope of coming back, you know?
Right. And I
don't care about that.
So another good example of doing it right was, I hate to say it, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I very much liked Bucky and Sam in that. I thought that they were relatable characters dealing with relatable problems. And I like to see that because that's kind of Marvel's thing. That's always been Marvel's thing. Yeah. Is in the comics. Like these are characters who you can somewhat identify with. And I like to see when they're doing that in film. Sometimes Marvel does like a hard overcorrection though, and they're either outright unlikable like Jen and She-Hulk, or they're just over the top like practically DC characters at this point, like Thor and Love and Thunder, where it's like, I can't relate to you, dude. You're bonkers.
I will disagree and say that in Phase 4, from what we've seen so far, there are several likable characters. I didn't have problems with Jen like you have. I liked Haley Steinfeld's character in Hawkeye.
True. Okay, good point.
Miss Marvel. So there's been quite a few likable characters for me.
I think the only thing about Jen is that like, she's an alcoholic and they don't address that.
Yeah,
shit.
they should have really brought that up because I think we brought that up way too much for it to be like not actually a thing. You know what I mean? Like I feel bad now. I feel like I'm bad because I brought it up.
I'm a guy who likes his drink. So for me, it's like immediately noticeable when someone is drinking all the time. And it was kind of odd that it's not brought up that anytime Jen's doing anything outside of being She-Hulk, she's drinking. But I think that I think Phase 4 has been hit or miss. I think I don't even know what happened in Phase 3 anymore. Earlier Marvel phases, I think there was more likability to almost all of the characters. And I think Phase 4 has either knocked it out of the park, like with I don't know her name, the Hawkeye's assistant,
Kate Bishop.
Kate Bishop.
I thought her character was great. I think that Loki is much more relatable now than he ever has been.
Yeah.
But then on the other end, they have other characters that are just like, I either don't like you, or I think that you're like practically a parody of what you're supposed to be.
Well, like I imagine you didn't like Awkwafina in Shang-Chi.
I didn't hate Awkwafina in Shang because I actually really, really like Awkwafina's music. I always have. Like I like her music a lot. I didn't hate her in Shang-Chi. I thought personally Shang-Chi was just a really boring movie. But
I liked it.
I like the beginning of Shang-Chi a lot. Like I think
Phase 4 movies.
The first half of Shang-Chi is really good, but then the last bit it kind of did lose me. I will fully admit. But
I liked it all the way through. But yeah, I get where you're coming from with like there's just certain characters that like they're some are good. But a lot of them just sort of miss the mark.
Well, I feel like they're trying too hard to make them. I think now is the thing, right? Like, and even with Korg a little bit, like Korg, I get that was last phase, but like, I think Korg almost should have died. Like that actually would have.
Yeah, like when he got shot with lightning, just fucking kill him, dude.
It would be like, damn, that's a snake.
Korg only exists for Taika Waititi to have his own self-insert.
I get it, but damn.
And then like I think like they relieve some of the like important aspects of a character for the sake of comedy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that like Thor is probably the most egregious example, where his character has like basically been 3 different characters.
Yeah.
So we have like more dramatic but still funny Thor in the earlier movies, and I'm one of those people that actually doesn't think Thor 2 is a very bad movie.
Woof.
Richard,
what the fuck?
I think it. I think Thor 2 actually had a lot of really good scenes. I think that seeing like Loki die for the first time,
it had
like
moments
with Thor. Like I was practically crying in that scene. But I think that like Thor's character in the first two movies, and then Thor in Ragnarok, and then Thor in Love and Thunder are three completely different characters. Completely different.
But you're not even adding in like Endgame Thor or like Infinity War Thor. You know what I mean? Like these are all
in Endgame
so
and Infinity War Thor.
Infinity War is
Ragnarok Thor.
I think Infinity War is Thor is like the prime example of like a good Thor. Like he's stoic and gritty, but he's also like funny at times.
He's got his I see a copy of my beard look. You know what I mean? Like he's like got moments like that, but he's crying about the fact that everyone he's ever loved pretty much is like falling apart.
Yeah, like I think that's the perfect combination Thor right there is an Infinity War.
Well, he was serious when he needed to be and when the plot needed it, but he's also kind of the lovable goofball.
Yeah.
And like then they leaned so hard into that with Love and Thunder, where it's like I don't even recognize this character.
Yeah,
anymore.
like he's not serious at all. He's just a fucking dumbass most of the time.
I get that in Endgame too. Like they made him like fat, right? And that was like the joke. But like I still think that there are like moments within that movie where it's
relatable though, because like he went through a severe depression. You know?
Yeah, like even because when he goes back in time and he's like, "I'm worthy." That moment is good. I like that.
Yeah, like Endgame Thor is still, and then they still make him incredibly badass in the final fight in that. You know,
the funny thing about this is I'm gonna super derail us, but the funny thing about quote unquote fat Thor
derailed.
I know, right? Fat Thor. If you've ever seen an actual strong man in your life, Fat Thor is what they look like.
Yeah,
because it's kind of weird that they portrayed him as being fat just because he didn't look like super shredded, like normal.
Because he didn't have his god bod anymore.
They didn't give him like flabby fat. They give him like Bane fat, where it was like you're just thick. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
he looked. That's what like when you actually do
sumo wrestler fat,
like functional strength. That's what you look like.
Yeah, because like you're like all muscle at that point, you know, like
because that's what I like about Bane so much from Dark Knight Rises. Like he doesn't give off muscle. It's just that he is a fucking imposing mass.
Yeah, he's a beast, and like that's what real strength looks like. Like if you look at like World's Strongest Man competitions, they all look like Fat Thor.
That's what I say to myself all the time.
So it's kind of goofy to me that like this portrayal of Fat Thor is so off base. Like that's not what actual overweight people look like. That's what really strong people look like.
I think that's just a limitation of the fat suit in a sense, right?
I think it's mostly just them saying like it's the best thing that they could do to portray that he has gone through a lot of depression and isn't exactly what he used to be.
Like someone should have punched his gut and it should have been like really flabby. You know what I mean? Like it should have like rippled a lot.
Oh god!
Like it should have been like, oh, that's not good fat, dude.
He just looked like Thor Hardbelly.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like if you punched him, you would be like, ah.
Yeah, but back on topic, I think my original point though is that I think that the MCU has been kind of slipping lately with likable characters, and I think some of that is in the vein of like trying to push a message a little bit, like in She-Hulk, and some of it is also with just kind of missing the mark, like it is with Thor and Love and Thunder, where it's like they're sacrificing good characterization in the name of like entertainment, which works sometimes, other times like I think Ragnarok was the perfect example of like how to change a character while keeping them relevant and likable
and marginally on base. Like they still were like there were connections there that I could see being like, oh yeah, he's changed because of his relations with people that have changed him slightly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and you have to root for the character, and I think Werewolf by Night actually did that very well. Where our main characters I was rooting for, I wanted to see them succeed. Because like it helps that like the bad characters are so cartoonishly evil.
I don't know if they're depicted as evil. Well, I guess so. Like if you're like,
oh man, they had like the classic
for the monsters.
They had the classic evil stepmother.
Yeah, for sure. Her, yeah.
Because can you interpret at the end of this kind of being that like, okay, well, like he's killed like 100 monsters apparently, right? Or
no, he's had over 100 deaths.
Or does that mean that he let them live when they escaped? You know what I mean? Like, is that what he's doing? Because is that more his thing?
It means he doesn't kill people. When he turns into a werewolf, he's uncontrollable, and people have died. He's not killed monsters. Like, I think he was lying about that one guy who
might be considering humans the monsters.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was kind of like, I felt that the badness was the fact that, like, Man-Thing isn't really evil, right? They're kind of just like taking him and making him do something that he doesn't want to do and hurting him even, right? So it's like,
I think Man-Thing's thing in the comics is if you look at him and you're like, he feels that you're afraid, you're dead.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, buddy. Maybe you look a little bit more presentable when I see you. Jesus.
Look nicer sometimes,
baby. Of course I'm gonna look at you and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Just like The Witcher. Yeah, Nolan, that's pretty spot on. Oh boy, can we talk about Witcher news, or is that something you want to wait?
Okay, yes. Get out your thoughts, because I'm mad and I don't even watch the show.
I'm actually excited.
I'm alright with it.
What the fuck?
I'm not excited for the show. I'm actually, because the show can fuck off for all I'm concerned. I am happy that Henry Cavill put his foot down and said, fuck this. If you guys aren't going to do it right, I'm out.
Yeah, because they've so far messed up a lot of character stories. Like Eskel, or Lambert is not supposed to die. No, it was Eskel. Eskel was not supposed to die at all.
Spoilers for The Witcher, by the way. Spoilers for The Witcher.
Characters.
Spoiler for The Witcher, but they completely fucked up his character. Like he was Eskel who was acting like Lambert and died like what was his name? The fucking Griffin one. The Griffin school.
Do you think if he wasn't, like, if they weren't bringing him back as Superman, if he still would have quit?
I think that's a big factor, honestly.
I think that was a big factor, but like definitely, like there have been moments where Henry Cavill has like definitely talked to the producers of Witcher about the way that's going now, because so far, like compared to the books and the games, it is straying pretty far right now.
I hate that Henry Cavill is so perfect.
I think it's certainly part of it that, you know, he's back as Superman. Spoilers for Black Adam.
I mean, that is the worst kept secret on the internet right now.
I know.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Dwayne Johnson said it.
I also think that it's important to note that Henry Cavill did not have to outright say that he was disagreeing with the way the show was going.
Gotcha.
You know, there was no reason for him to say that other than to say his truth, you know?
Yeah.
And we know that he's a huge fan of The Witcher. That's why he signed on to do it at what I would assume to have probably been a loss for a guy of his caliber.
Yeah.
You know, like he's not, compared to what he makes normally, The Witcher is nothing. That was a passion project for him. And the producers of the show and the writers outright said that they don't even like the source material.
What the fuck are we doing then?
That's the worst thing.
The
show? The fucking writers never read the books and don't like. They actually said they don't like it.
Compare that to The Last of Us, where it looks like that show is pretty much going to be adapted.
That show looks fucking way too good. I don't like.
That show looks amazing.
That is going to destroy any video game adaptation arguments forever. I think going forward.
I hope so. Are we going to do a show on that?
I'm down. So. If you guys want to do it, I'm down.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm down.
No,
how many episodes are there going to be? Do we know? I'm going to look that up while you guys continue. I'll check it out.
No idea. But I think it's, I actually think it's, I don't care about the state of the Witcher show anymore. I'm pretty much done with it. But I think it's super admirable on Henry Cavill's part to put his foot down and be like, no, I'm not going to do this if you're going to fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still probably going to watch it. Just because I like The Witcher so much, you know, I'm gonna still watch it, but I'm gonna be very critical about it probably.
Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna be the next season's gonna be much lower budget because if I remember correctly, Henry Cavill himself was a producer.
Yeah.
So without his financial backing, which is big, it's only going to get worse. Honestly, I don't even understand why they're going to keep it going at this point.
Yeah, I think like they should have made season 3 because I think their initial plan was to make it fucking 7 seasons or some shit.
So wait, are they just recasting and going forward, or are they like going? Yeah,
they're recasting Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is it like younger him, or are they just going forward?
No, that's just him.
That's
I think
so
it's just
weird.
Him now.
Oh, it's so weird to me.
Yep,
happens.
I get it, but man, I don't like it.
But like the main character being completely recast is a little weird.
It does happen.
I know
it's happened, but man, I think it's weird in every case, right? Even when Dumbledore was like suddenly other guy, and I get it, like the other guy died.
I mean,
like,
that guy died.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough, I get it, but it was jarring for people, right? Because like they liked his performance, and then the new guy comes in and he's like, Harry Potter, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? You know what I mean? Like he comes in running, and you're like, I don't think the other guy, could not imagine the other.
No, he would not have said it like that.
Harry, did you put your name in the goblet?
Like the
of fire?
vibe that the first Dumbledore gave off compared to the second one is so drastic to me that it's weird.
Clothes are like the craziest thing. Like the first one had like such bombastic
He
clothes.
was robing it.
Then the new one's just like gray robes, you know?
Yeah, he went from Dumbledore to Gandalf real fast.
By the way, Last of Us will have 9 episodes, so
that's pretty good.
that's very doable, and I would love to do that. Let's do that. So
Yeah, it would be great if it was 6.
Yeah, I agree. I think what's weird is that if you would have told me a few years ago that Henry Cavill was playing The Witcher, or that Liam Hemsworth was playing The Witcher, I would say Liam Hemsworth is the right choice. That Henry Cavill is too big, like too like big, like strong,
like Superman.
And like I actually think that if they would have done this over again, Liam Hemsworth would have probably been better casting, because Geralt's supposed to be like a lean, athletic build, and Henry Cavill is huge.
Yeah.
I haven't played these games.
I think Liam Hemsworth would have been better casting initially.
Henry Cavill gets the views.
I haven't.
Exactly.
I haven't played these games. I just watched. How old is Geralt? Like in universe, is there a Witcher thing where like he's old,
like 90? Like he's really old.
Like because that's my thing a little bit. Where I want them to cast like a not a 90-year-old, of course, but like a gruffer, like older guy.
I don't think they're going to cast a 90-year-old.
Yeah, like, absolutely not. But like,
well, like no, it's really unknown how old he actually is. It's just estimated that he's about 90.
They say it in the games. They say that he's roughly 80 years old.
Because like when I see him in the third one, he's got like he's wrinkled, he's grizzled. You know what I mean? Like he looks like
he's not old. He's
not old for
age differently. Yeah. They age more like the Numenorians do. Like they can live hundreds of years.
Yeah, because
and not Henry Cavill, Geralt is supposed to be. By the way, Witchers live. He's still like probably in his mid-30s.
What was his like buddy's name in the third game? Like his Witcher buddy,
Lambert.
Esco, Lambert, and there was also.
Well, I'm thinking of the old one, like the old one he starts out with. I think in the game.
Fuck, what was his name?
Oh my god!
Because like that's what I'm saying. It's like when I see that guy, like he looks old. Like older than Geralt for sure, but
he's much older.
Yeah, but when you say that, like
Vesemir.
So
yes.
Vesemir is about 200 years old.
But like when you say that, I'm like, well, shit, dog. Like all I'm saying is really, I just want them to cast an older guy because I think it would just give a better like grizzled vibe, you know. Like not like Hugh Jackman in Logan, but Hugh Jackman in Logan. Like
that's fair. Well, like Geralt's hair is not even white because he's old. It's white because of like
Witcher shit
that happened to him. Yeah.
Well, I get that, but like even in his face, like how much time passes between 1 to 3 in the games?
In the games, like 50 years.
50 years. So like there you go, right? And like I don't know.
Way less. Way
less. Well, in the show. Sorry, in the show it was about like 30 years, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the show does a big time jump.
And then the games
Witcher 1, 2, and 3 is like 5 years.
Okay, it was within the same time. Jarring because in the first game he looks so weird.
Well, it's because it's like fucking PS2 graphics.
I get you, but like, good lord, like, wow.
It says a lot about how far CD Projekt Red has come as a company.
No kidding.
That was their first game as like this independent Polish producer. And that game, like, it looks goofy if you go back now, but like it still holds up if you play it. The combat's weird, but
and they're remaking it. They're remastering it now.
That's exciting, though. I don't know if I trust the company anymore.
No?
I don't know. I think that like that was like that wasn't even their fault, wasn't it? Like it was more.
That was like a blunder that like they actually fixed.
But it was like not their fault. It was the producer's fault or whatever, right? Isn't that like the case where like they were like pushing it out?
Sure, it's not the developer's fault, but it's
still like their fault.
It's still CD Projekt's fault.
But they fixed it, or mostly fixed it at this point.
I don't think they even have a producer, right? Don't they do their?
Well, no, that's right. But like, so it's like the money people, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
CD Projekt, like that's the overall publisher and who owns all the development studios. There's like the CD Projekt development studio.
Yeah, I don't know. I swear when that whole hubbub was going out with it coming out all problematic, I swear I heard something about it being just pushed out by people. That didn't even understand the fact that it was broken. You know what I mean? Like just the uppers.
Yeah, I mean, look, that
happens all the time.
At the end of the day, they still overpromised and underdelivered. And we saw things. They showed things on demonstration at like the E3 like play demos that you can't do in the game.
Like even to this day.
Yes, like there are even like post patches. There are entire sections of the game that aren't available. You were supposed to be able to like wall run and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Your choices in your initial path, whether it's corpo or whatever, were supposed to directly influence the game, whereas in the actual game they really don't beyond the intro.
Yeah, like that's a big thing I've heard is like Jesse Cox talking about the game where the beginning has like this huge spider web, but then it like goes away immediately after like the first few missions.
Yeah. I think the biggest problem with that is the amount of time and resources they had to put into the game to like abandon all of those other stuff to get it to what they were trying to get into a playable state for previous gen consoles. Because they were being forced to release that game on every platform, which was a huge mistake.
Well, I think that they made a blunder, that happened was they're fixing it.
The game was initially announced for the PS4, not the PS5, or the newer Xbox, whatever letter it is.
It's just one of those prime examples of a game taking too long to come out. Almost when like they announce it and it builds up too much hype, and then it comes out and it cannot match that, even though it was broken, admittedly, but it was just like too long.
There's going to be documentaries made on Cyberpunk in the future.
My god,
that's going to be amazing.
Like I can tell you from my own experience, I was working as a manager at Best Buy when that game launched, and we had Best Buy has like bargain bins, right, where there's like $5 games. We had like 5 of those things filled to the brim with Cyberpunk copies. Like nobody was buying that game after it launched. It was bad.
All right,
the only time I've ever seen, because the way that typically these businesses work is you get a bunch of games in, right? You're expected to sell through an allotted amount, and if you don't, you have to send it back to the warehouse, and then they do whatever they do with it. We sent back pallets of Cyberpunk, like a crazy amount, more than I've ever seen a video game get sent back.
Jesus!
It was nuts. Like that game, they shit the bed in every capacity, whether, no matter who's to blame for it, they shit the bed in every single capacity.
All right, well, we're going back to
on that. Let's go back to Werewolf by Night. Yeah.
We've had so we see werewolves, we've seen demons, we've seen witches.
David Bowie.
We've seen David Bowie. We're going to see vampires soon as Marvel finds another director. So what's next? What's the next monster in the MCU?
Vampires.
Men.
Well, I mean, aside from vampires, because again, they need to find a new director first.
Yeah, Blade movie.
The next monster.
What even like
left?
Yeah.
There's mummies.
Nihilus.
Well, we already had mummies in Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Moon. There's I guess
think in a weird way, even though Blade's clearly not evident in this movie, I do think that this movie does kind of set a stage for the Blade movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're showing.
I think the next monster we're gonna see is a Nihilus.
Yeah.
A Nihilus.
He's like that, like.
Yeah.
What even is he? Like a
he's
robot,
like an interdimensional
like a giant bug.
An interdimensional insectoid conqueror
with the face. With the face of Ultron, pretty much.
With Ultron's face.
I don't even know where
I think he lives in the negative zone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only seen pictures of that guy. I haven't even like seen anything with him.
He's one of Marvel's like biggest.
Really?
Villains.
Jesus.
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah, it's like one.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
Dangerous villains.
I get
he
so
could definitely be a big
sometimes.
bad. That's for sure.
Wasn't there a whole comic series around him?
Oh, I think there's
Annihilation Conquest.
Probably.
DC and Marvel use so many interchangeable terms that I get so lost sometimes.
Yeah, like the negative zone, the phantom zone. Can we stop?
Well, the negative zone has an even closer comparison. There's a negative multiverse in DC.
God damn it!
You guys just throw the word quantum in front of everything.
Oh my god, I get so confused with this stuff because Marvel and DC just constantly riff off of each other.
All right, but
for sure.
I think
the negative anti-material zone.
Our big main point is more of this, please.
More of this, please, for sure.
More of this, please, guys.
We're going to get the holiday special coming up. There's rumors about a Nova special. I don't think those rumors have any sort of legitimacy, though.
I don't know if they're going to do Nova. I think that'd be cool. That'd be cool as fuck, for sure.
There's a lot of, like I said, fake Marvel clickbait social media accounts that just throw shit on the wall until like people pick up on it.
Like the tabloids.
So,
well, I just wonder if even something like that would show up in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know that movie's already cluttered as fuck. But
I don't think Nova will have anything to do with Guardians.
But like they were set up in the first one, like
yeah, there's the backstory of who that character is going to work for, but like I don't think it's
the Green Lantern Corps.
Guardians.
That's exactly right.
That's essentially what they are. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I haven't looked up like the stats on Werewolf by Night, but do you guys know if it did well?
I think it did.
I don't bother looking at that stuff.
I can try to.
I look it up every now and then. Like I know that Andor is actually not doing very well, which is very disappointing.
It has.
Do we even have that information for
91%
on certain things apparently, right? Because the Andor stuff, we've seen the views on the Star Wars shows, and it's weird.
7.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
I would imagine that Disney would be like Netflix, where they would be like, "No, we're not going to let you know what our stats are."
I don't know.
But they came out.
I'm sure that there's some rules behind it. Like, is Disney a publicly traded company? I have no idea.
I haven't seen the numbers like on this chart for Marvel shows, but Star Wars got it. I don't know how that works. It just was something publicly that everyone was talking about suddenly.
I'm probably wrong on this. I'm not a businessman, but I think if it's a publicly traded company, then they have to release that information.
Maybe. I don't imagine this would have done well. Because
really?
it's very much it's maybe it did and I'm wrong, but it's a small little short film for like around Halloween time, and it was poorly marketed. I didn't see anything about this.
Me either. The only trailer I saw was one that Sam sent me.
Yeah, that's we saw that there's the Disney Plus Day or whatever. That's when we saw it because we were watching we were reacting that news live, and. Like other than that, they there's rumors about this thing for like a year. Like they're like, oh yeah, Marvel's working on this, but they're not officially announcing it. They didn't announce it until they had the trailer.
Yeah, their marketing was sort of like, okay, here's the trailer, it's coming on next week. Okay, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do think that they kind of dropped the ball a little bit by not releasing this on Halloween.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if that would have made a difference, but I think it should have come out on Halloween. It would have given.
It would have been cooler.
A lot of people
they should have promoted it the time it came out. That's when they should have promoted it and then announced that hey, it's releasing on Halloween or close to Halloween.
I think that they released it at a fine time because I don't know if on Halloween is going to get you the more views because I think more people are doing their own parties, their own things.
Yeah.
And they have their own traditions built into Halloween already, right?
Yeah.
Well, this would have fit perfectly into I think a lot of Halloween because a lot of folks just sit at home and watch horror movies on Halloween. Yeah, you know.
Then
I watch my own horror movies though. I'm not gonna lie. I do not watch a new thing. I would watch this is my horror
thing.
My horror theme.
We watched Fresh on Halloween.
I mean, I dressed up as a post-apocalyptic Luigi and got pissed drunk, so I couldn't have watched
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I might have watched it during the day before I went out.
Do you guys know when they're releasing the holiday special? Because that's even worse, I would say.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I think they're releasing it. I think I saw November 28th. It's literally not even in December.
What the fuck?
That's a very early.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
So weird.
I think release it in the month, but maybe not on Christmas.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to watch that around the holidays. I don't know if I'm gonna.
I might wait.
Shit, I'm gonna have to wait.
I'm gonna wait until December. I'll tell you that much.
I think it's probably the same. I think that part of the reason why they do this is that they want to release things out in this very specific order so that you keep your Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah.
That's gotta be the primary
at the same time didn't they release a new Star Wars thing and then Miss Marvel at the same time? And
you mean in the last little bit when they released She-Hulk and Andor together pretty much?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Ugh.
They keep doing that.
Stop, please. It's because they have too much and it got pushed back recently. So now it's all getting slumped. At one point soon we're gonna have Bad Batch and Mando going together at the same time. So oof.
I'm getting lost in the sauce too, where there's everyone's in everything and they cross stream so much now. If you're in Marvel, you're probably gonna be in Star Wars, and it's like seeing Andy Serkis and Andor was oh my god, dude, Ulysses Claw.
Isn't Pedro Pascal gonna have 2 shows airing at the same time? I think I just read that recently.
Because he'll be on The Last of Us and what else?
And Mandalorian.
Oh my god, you're right!
At the same fucking time, you're gonna get 2 shows with the same lead.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of feel the everything Disney right now is it's they have a pool of actors and they just keep plucking from that pool, and then I don't know, it kind of feels if you're an actor in Hollywood now, you have to do something Marvel, DC, or Star Wars.
But like Last of Us is HBO though.
What else is there,
right,
Richard? What else?
Nothing anymore, man. There really isn't anything anymore.
Wow.
Like, I talked about
I'm
this on a different episode, but like, God, I miss just having regular movies every now and then, and not just this constant barrage of superhero stuff.
See, we say that. I agree, Richard, but at the same time, there are other movies. Like there are things like Barbarian coming out. There are like their own random other movies, but like we just don't care as much because we don't have as much built in. You know,
I just don't have the time because I'm too busy watching superhero shit.
Well, there you go. I don't know. Like,
I'm invested in this stuff. I like this stuff. I grew up on it. I read the comics. But I think both can exist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
for
there's
sure.
audiences for both, and sometimes you can enjoy both.
Like sometimes I see like in my local movie theater, which isn't even playing like that many movies. I'll see like Black Adam and something else that I've never even heard of, and I'm like, okay, what the hell is that? Let me check that out.
I remember I don't often go to the theater anymore, but I remember the last time that I was at one, seeing all the posters, and almost every poster there was like it was like
Blockbuster,
Thor: Love and Thunder, the Batman. And then it was like the Uncharted movie, and it's like every one of these things is like a video game or comic book thing, and like I think the only movie that was in the theater at that time that wasn't was Top Gun 2, and like it's just weird now.
But it's still a sequel. It's still a sequel that they know I think is going to bring in people. You know what I mean?
We got Black Adam, Pray for the Devil. We got Smile. We got Super Pets. Lyle Crocodile.
Fuck that movie, by the way. Like, I hate seeing that shit. I get way too many. No, not Super Pets.
We got
way too many goddamn ads for Lyle Crocodile. Fuck that shit.
And we got Homecoming, which is like a Chinese film.
I'll be honest. I don't think I'm really excited and like really enjoy watching movies all that much anymore. But I feel like I would rather put that time towards video games.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think that's a better
all
medium.
of my spare time goes towards streaming these days. Like I don't have time for video games or movies. Like I got back from my vacation and had to sit there and watch 2 episodes of Andor just so that we could do the podcast. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to sit through 2 episodes of this slow ass show.
I told that to Kaz. Because he's not going to be on this week's stream, so he's like not going to watch it this week. I'm going to be, and I told him, you're going to want to watch 2 episodes in a row, dude? And he's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, that's good luck, dude.
It's like 2 hours, and like the last episode was great. We'll talk about that later. But it's still like, Andor's just a very slow show. So it was just 2 hours of me just sitting there like drooling on myself, like, God, I could be doing any other thing right now.
Like, let's just say I'm so excited for like in 3 weeks when that show's over, and I can be like, yeah, I didn't like it that much. Like, I'll be honest.
I like that. I like the last episode. The last episode was really engaging.
I loved it.
It was all right. There's our thoughts pretty much already if you're still watching.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're just not into cinema anymore, Sam.
I don't know. Yeah, apparently not. I don't know what to tell you. Like, when Mando comes out, I'll probably be like, fuck yeah. But like, I don't know.
You know, funny thing, I think Werewolf by Night is the first show that's come on that all of us have liked.
Yeah.
No,
usually
for sure.
one of us disagrees with the other. This is, I think, the first time that we've had a show that we were all like,
I think that's a sign that it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think that bodes well.
It's a new original character for Marvel. It's a unique idea they haven't done before.
Sam,
it's
thank
short.
you for rating the stream with 7 viewers, and Jacob.
Oh my God, Sam, welcome.
Up?
We're just about to end it.
Yeah, we're wrapping up here pretty much, and honestly, we were gonna raid into you, you bastards. Why'd you have to finish up?
Oh no!
God damn it! Saw y'all playing The Sims. Come on. Yeah, listen. You start your stream.
Did you create us?
Start your stream back up, and we'll raid back in.
I'll give us a final question here.
Yeah, start it back up.
Where are we going to see these characters next? What's happening after Werewolf by Night?
I have like no clue. My theory was Agatha, and I'm going to call it House of Harkness. I don't give a fuck.
I hope
we're gonna keep calling it. It's gonna air as Coven of Chaos, and you're still gonna call it.
I'm gonna put it in the goddamn.
You're gonna write down as House of Harkness for like the title here.
This background will only be House of Harkness because I will only stand that name because it was so stupid when they announced it. I was like, really? Like House of Harkness?
I think we'll see. I think we'll see more monster stuff show up, not directly related to Werewolf by Night. I think we'll see Elsa and Man-Thing show up and other stuff. But I think the real big thing that we'll probably see them in is Secret Wars. I think that's going to be the next thing.
Wait, the movie or is that the show? That's Secret Invasion. The movie. The show. Okay.
Secret Invasion is the show.
Or We Are Sims. Did you create us, Sam?
I personally, I hope that we never see these characters again, and that we just leave them in this nice little place
for the best of reasons.
A nice little,
nice little
for good reasons.
Goodness.
They tied a nice little bow on the end, and I'd like to keep that bow tied and not unravel it just to go throw them into some other thing where they're not going to matter.
Yeah, I can honestly see that. The way that it is, they could show up and it would be whatever. But I think it more suits it that they just fade off. Maybe Man-Thing shows up again in some capacity, but I don't know.
I can't see him mattering, outside of this.
But he's
Man-Thing gonna?
Well, we said, he's the portal to the multiverse, right?
There's gonna be the whole point of Secret Wars is to have the superheroes fight each other to sell action figures.
For sure.
That's the reason why it exists. You're gonna have Man-Thing who can destroy people with his acid hands, and you're gonna have a fucking werewolf. That's just I can really tell. There's gonna be a thing wherever Secret Wars takes place. There's gonna be a full moon, and then the werewolf's gonna jump out of nowhere at some point, and then whatever.
Marvel, hire us to the fucking Marvel. That was the greatest scene ever. On this planet of nothing, of just random universes smashed together, the moon orbits and the fucking werewolf guy. That's a great scene, Till. When that happens, I will be thinking of you.
I can imagine that happening.
I want it.
All right.
If it doesn't,
I gotta wrap this up. I got stuff to do. We gotta wrap this up.
All right. God damn. Now I gotta find someone to raid.
What about Evan Blair?
Remove Sam.
All right.
Yeah, let's remove Sam.
It's honestly in the box still. Let's do it.
There you go. Remove Sam. I hope you start streaming. McClunky.
No, okay, sure. Let's stream into Evan Blair art. I swear to God, if he's wrapping up right now, I'm going to be so pissed.
He's been streaming for about 4 hours.
I'm seeing that. Fucking Christ.
Benetron.
Okay, you pump that bitch in.
I don't fucking. Oh. Okay.
Send it to me.
I got one. If you guys,
they're playing Binding of Isaac. Or you got one?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you guys don't, he's a guy. He's my buddy, Studio Johnny Q. He does a lot of Marvel artwork.
We don't care about your friends. So
no, send it to me, Richard.
I don't even know why I hang out here.
I want to see Marvel artwork.
Yeah, we want to see it.
Okay, send it over.
Send it to me, Richard.
I'll just say it.
What do you mean you're gonna say it? I can't type off of you. Whatever you said.
You're right. I forgot.
Whatever you said, I won't say it again, bitch.
Whoa. Which one am I posting in? Watch Party?
No, sure.
Send it to Sam directly.
You could just send it to me directly, but you could also put it in Watch Party. I guess.
This is the problem. Is I am also really dumb.
Well, relatable.
We got one dumb person calling another person dumb.
Then we're like the Four Stooges here, people.
Sent.
Is there four of them?
Okay, in high school, I made more clearly.
In high school, we made for computer class or a fucking filmmaking class. We made a what if there was a fourth Stooge, and pretty much I was playing one of the dead, a Stooge that died during one of the stunts, and then
wasn't there one of them that got replaced?
Maybe, I don't know.
And
then the new Stooge came in, but this Stooge was he wasn't goofy or anything, and he was all serious about everything. So no one liked him. So
instead of plays and stuff for school, we just shoot them.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's a dark joke.
McClunky.
Jesus Christ, Richard. Thanks for that one.
The fucking silence.
I regret nothing.
Oy vey, Rudy.
Oh,
well, folks, thank you so much for joining us on this very special Werewolf by Night discussion. Thank you to Till and Brutal Richard for showing up. You guys are awesome. Always love chatting with you.
Shut up.
Fuck off. You will see Richard tomorrow. We'll be talking about Andor episode 9 at 12 p.m. PST. Boy, howdy, get ready for that. Kaz won't be there, so it's not going to be as crazy, I think, but...
I'm going live in 10 minutes, so...
Yeah, good. What are you doing, Richard? God damn it, man.
I gotta go stretch and pee and stuff. Okay?
If you want to be in on it, Jacob, you gotta watch the episode. I don't know if you're going to be around, but you gotta watch it in your own time. I'm not watching it again. I have to do it with Kaz already.
All right, everyone was there.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. For you, Lassie.
Beautiful.